Hello, everyone. I'm Nadine, owner of NG Platinum Homes, and welcome to another wonderful episode of What Makes This Design Great. Today's guest is Karen Richani of Karen Richani Design. She is my wonderful friend, very talented interior designer, and I'm so excited to have you to show your projects today.
Thank you, Nadine, for inviting me to your podcast. I really enjoy our conversations, and I love you too.
Yes, I know. And I love looking at your projects. They're absolutely amazing. So, the first one we're going to talk about today is the Chic countryside. And we're going to be highlighting two spaces in this video because you can see here living room and kitchen. So let's first talk about the living room. Now, this was a new build.
Correct.
Okay.
Action.
And the aesthetics of this is just amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the client. You said this was in Brenham.
Correct. This project is very special to me because this is a new construction, and it's a family of 5, and they're the sweetest clients ever. So they decided to build a new house outside of Houston in Brenham for the kids to grow and eventually move there for good. They reached out to me to help them select finishes with the layout and designing all of the kitchen and to make it special, right, and personalized, especially having it's a fairly large family of 3, and they're planning on using this, as a house for family gatherings, for larger groups. So,
So
I
they needed
really enjoy.
function
Correct.
also.
Correct. Exactly.
So let's first talk about some of the finishes here and the furnishings in the living room space. Color palette is really beautiful. I love the contrast between the black and the browns and then the lighter tones on the carpet. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration behind these and go from there.
Yeah, of course. So they were struggling in what to choose for their floors, considering the setting of this house. Outside of this home, there's a lot of wilderness, let's say,
Country
right?
type.
Country, correct. And they didn't want a country looking home, so they wanted to modernize a little bit the aesthetics. The first thing we did was actually choosing what type of finish, what type of floor will be the best and suitable for this home. So we ended up selecting LVT. It's a really great finish for this type of homes, and actually for many other applications.
And it's very durable too. Lots of
Correct.
kids, or if you have pets, we install those in a lot of homes too because it's pretty durable.
Yeah, we were considering hardwood floors, then like tile that looks like wood, but we ended up choosing these, and it turned out amazing. The color was on point. We did some samples on site, and we came up with this timeless neutral color that it's a little bit warmer, not so light, and not so dark. That's in terms of the floor finish. And then for the walls, my favorite also, for many projects, I use alabaster.
Me too.
Karen Williams. Yeah, because I think it's, if you have a warmer or a cooler color palette, it works really well. And
I always say that a lot of people really like that bright light color, but they don't want stark white. And I've talked about that before. So it's a great option to where you can add in brighter whites with it as far as accents, or you can, do the darker tones, and it just seems like it works with any other color.
Correct. I agree. I'm a big fan of alabaster. Another finish that we were selecting for this house was the white brick, like a whitewash brick for the fireplace. This fireplace is actually a double fireplace. And it's funny because at some point the husband wanted one finish and then the wife wanted another one. And we were like, okay, why don't we do one on the one side? And I said, no, let's stick to one. So we ended up with this one, and it turned out really great. So it's still, it has character. It's perfect for this home outside of Houston, but at the same time, it's a little bit more modern, right?
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit now about the furnishings. So if
Mhm.
we can take a look at the couch there. That's a nice, big, comfy looking couch for a family of 5.
Yeah, and in leather, which is durable and easy to maintain. So we selected a Potter Barn L-shaped sectional. I think it really will be a long-term item that it will keep for many years to come. Um, and as I mentioned, well, leather it will have some character,
Mhm.
eventually,
Yeah.
which is I appreciate that in furniture, right?
Yes.
Especially with leather, yeah, or we have to be aware of that. But easy to maintain, also perfect for a country home.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then we have a very nice chandelier there. So where
So
did
the
that
chandelier, actually, I think it's Sonneman. I think we bought that from Lumens,
oh,
but I can confirm that.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's fine. You don't have to remember everything.
Okay,
You have so
okay.
many projects
Sorry.
going on. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
But it's really nice. And I like
Mhm.
that how it accents nicely with the other colors in the room.
It needed to have the scale.
Yeah.
That was an issue there because the high ceilings and then uh, the proportions of the room. So we didn't something that it will feel overwhelming,
Mm,
but also not something that will look tiny for the home
yeah.
for this house.
Yeah. It's nice and it doesn't take over the space
Correct.
to where that's
Mhm,
not what I mean, you notice it, but it doesn't like, take over the space so much to where that's all
mhm,
that you notice. So
exactly.
that's great.
Yeah.
And then let's go take a look at you have some accent chairs and a nice coffee table there.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, so the coffee table, I believe that one was also purchased through Lumens, and the accent chairs are Rove Concept.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are really nice. And then you have a nice little accent table
Oh,
there.
yeah.
That's nice too.
Those are really the things that complete a design, and those little details, how you stage it, it's what turns a design into, okay, it feels curated.
Yeah, and more like home.
Correct.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. So we are going to move on to the kitchen.
Mhm.
Beautiful. I love this kitchen. It's amazing.
Yeah,
So we
me too.
have, again, modern look, but not too far modern where it still goes with that kind of country look. And then how you have the cabinetry that these are all custom, of course.
Mhm.
Nice wood tone, and then the accent with the darker island and lower cabinets there. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. This is a custom kitchen that we designed for these clients. Very sleek. We didn't want to have or they didn't really need that much. It has a lot of storage, but they didn't want to have a kitchen that it's full of upper cabinets,
Mm.
So what
Mhm.
we did was a backsplash that incorporates a shelf or like a ledge. And we started with some home decor. It's very simple, minimalist, but full of character.
I love the accents now with the shelves behind there
Mhm.
on the backsplash. I
Correct.
think it really adds something really nice. Gives also some space to highlight some things or
Mhm.
use it for olive oils or whatever they want, but without overtaking it with cabinetry.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And then the accent lighting, that's something that we carefully selected, the client and I, and I think they turn out pretty special.
And where did the lighting come from?
Eminem lighting,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah, nice.
Mhm,
Yeah, they
mhm.
have some really beautiful things.
Yeah.
Now on the left side there, we have the really nice accent of the cabinetry that has like a reading on it, which gives it another little nice accent where it's not just a smooth door. If you can zoom in on that left side cabinet there, right where you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fluted design. That's actually the appliance garage.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it will
Yep.
it's
It
a
will go up and in.
correct.
Mm,
Mhm,
yeah, very lovely.
mhm.
Let's zoom out again, see what we can talk about next. Beautiful bar stools.
Uh-huh. And in this particular island, well, we use darker tones for the base cabinets and then, wood for the uppers. And also, that's a fridge with a panel ready on the
Oh,
on the right side.
okay.
That one. And it's seamless, right? It's clean and
Yes.
perfect look.
Which I
Mhm.
think, looking at most of your projects, that's pretty common.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Like if I have the chance, of course, there are projects that the client wants to keep their appliances that they have. They're good. So we'll do our best to integrate them into the design. But when I see an opportunity to advise the client, please buy them panel ready so
Mhm.
we don't see it. It's part of the furniture and it's sleek, modern, and clean. You don't have to see another finish inside
Yeah.
the
Because a lot of people struggle with that too, as they go along as far as the finishing on their appliances, and then they're like,
Mhm.
"Well, then does it have to match my
Yeah, if it's in
fixtures?"
stainless
And
steel, brass,
yeah.
they
So
have a conflict.
that eliminates one part of
Correct.
that to where they don't and because the refrigerator is such a big piece
Hmm.
that, if you can have it panel ready like that, it really seamlessly puts it in with the cabinetry, and you don't have to think about a
Yeah,
huge
and
stainless fridge or something like that.
exactly. And there are so many brands these days that offer in their different models that you can customize and do this type of approach, right?
Mm.
So yeah, when I see that's funny that you mentioned. Yeah, I try to like even for the mini fridges, like for the bar
Mhm.
cabinets, if I can do panel ready, that would be my go-to
Yeah.
for sure.
That's great. I do wanna mention about those bar stools again, those are beautiful.
Yeah,
Mm.
again, thinking on functionality, these are acrylic bar stools in a brass frame. Yeah, they're from CB2, and think the client had them actually, but they're perfect for their children, easy
Mhm.
to clean
Yeah.
and maintain.
Yeah, which is
Hmm.
important
Hmm.
because, kids can tend to make messes and then
Oh
being
yeah.
able to and sometimes people invest a lot of money in bar stools, and then you have the fear of, staining and, all of that. Granted, you can always, m
Hmm.
put stain guard on it or something like that, but
Yeah,
this is definitely
but
better.
with a family of young kids, I try to be very careful or mindful. There are things that will be there temporarily, let's say, or like do not invest that much on the counter stool because we know if you use it often,
Mhm.
it will be one of those things that will get ruined
Yeah.
quickly
Yeah.
or rugs. But with this particular option, it really stands. I own them actually
Really?
in black. But yeah, it takes away the worry of, okay, the fingers or
Yeah.
especially in this, it's kind of like a vacation home, let's say, for now.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Mhm.
this will be their home.
Forever home. Okay.
Hmm.
And then what about the countertops? What material is the
Well,
countertops?
I'm a big fan of porcelain slabs.
Mhm.
So these are porcelain slabs. Of course, I'm open to, I use other materials, but in this particular option, we did use porcelain.
Nice. And
Hmm.
then what is your view? I mean, you love it, you mentioned, and a lot of people I think like to think about that option, but what is your opinion on the durability of these?
Well, imagine it's like a floor, like a tile,
Mhm.
right? It's very, very durable, resistant to heat, to scratches, to stains. So there are brands that have slabs that are, that they're very close to a natural stone. They don't look pixelated. Let's say it's
Yeah.
something that I am very careful when choosing slabs. So when you take a closer look, they look, real, like a
Mhm.
real stone. In terms of durability, I highly recommend porcelain. Um, I think it's a great option. Um, and it's something that I will in this particular project that I use.
Great. Do you know where the porcelain came from?
Porcelanosa. Porcelanosa.
Porcelanosa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Well, amazing project. Thank you so much for sharing,
Of course. Thank you.
and stay tuned for the next episode.